Hey guys, Ramsey here. Welcome to another live stream, a completely random live stream. I wonder if anyone is even going to show up is the question. It is 5 o'clock here in Texas on a Monday. I worked all day. Obviously, I'm in my work clothes. And whenever I arrived, I had a package waiting. And I ripped out my last name, but you can see I am not lying to you about my first name being Ramsey. So I don't want to dox myself with what's on the front, but this is a very special package from Turkey, from a brand called mesOUD, an up-and-coming brand that I'm very excited about. So let's do scent of the day. Drop your scent of the day in the chat, and tell me what you're wearing. I'll tell you what I'm wearing, and it's very apropos because our good friend David Falsberg of Phoenicia Perfumes, he sent me some of his work. I've been wearing it as fast as I can. I've been trying to get to know his work as quickly as I can because he is coming onto the channel this coming Saturday, which is August 24th at noon Central Standard Time. Okay. So noon my time, noon Central Standard Time, 1 o'clock New York time. He's going to be coming on the channel. And he's going to do an interview. We're going to get to know him because honestly, I know nothing about his brand, his story. And he sent me some of his work, and I love talking to perfumers. I think it's one of the best ways to kind of learn. And so today I'm wearing what he calls Butch Fougere. It's one of his creations from 2023. It's really the third piece of work from this house of Phoenicia, which you can almost see the phoenix right there in the middle, his logo right here in the middle. The logo is the phoenix, and I'm going to let him answer on his live stream why he chose the phoenix. But I have a very good idea why, because I know a little bit of his backstory, and he's been through some stuff. It's going to be a very interesting live stream, I'll tell you that. But he's a hell of a perfumer, especially for someone who's an indie brand. You know, he's kind of falls into these artisanal houses like this, for example. Everything I've tried from him uses real oud so far. I think everything I've tried has an oud note. I have to verify that mesOUD does, but he has one fragrance called Real Oud Feral, which I wore just a couple days ago. Yesterday I wore mesOUD, and today I'm wearing Butch Fougere. Butch Fougere definitely has it's a very resinous take on a Fougere with oud. It's kind of for the Fougere lovers who want something that is a little off the beaten path. I really liked mesOUD, and I really enjoyed Real Oud Feral. This one, I like it, but it's not as crazy. It's the safest thing that he's done, even though there's real oud and real ambergris. But I'll tell you what, I thought it was a little bit boring as I was wearing it today. If you're a Fougere lover, though, you have to get your nose on this Butch Fougere. This is very impressive work because obviously it's supposed to be the most masculine of his works. So all of the florals are kind of almost dampened, like you put a fire blanket on a fire, you know? That's how the feeling of the florals just being dampened by the way that he used the hay and some of the other materials in here. But I'll tell you what, I applied this at 7 o'clock in the morning on my left hand, and the brown ambergris that he used, real Irish brown ambergris, really does continue to shine through even into the dry down. And so even though some of his stuff that I've smelled, I thought was blended with a heavy hand, let's say, the materials are amazing. And, you know, some of his blending is very good. Some of it sometimes I thought was fairly heavy handed, but I've been very impressed with his work. Definitely a house that I'm excited to chat with him about August the 24th at noon. I hope you guys can make the live stream and ask some live questions to him. Excited to chat with him and get to know him. But I want to do this unboxing with you guys. Well, tell me your scent of the day first. I know this live stream is a little out of the ordinary time-wise, and there are some reasons for that, unfortunately. But I wanted to unbox this, and I wanted my phone so that I could read you the email that the guy from mesOUD sent me. So it's MESOUD. I put it in the title. And so I'm going to start cutting this bad boy open because it arrived from Turkey today. And this is a gift from him to me. So I did not buy these. He actually sent these to me as a gift. And so let's see what he sent me. I'm really excited to get to know his work. If you're on that website, It's the OUD website that keeps coming up lately called OUD Addict or Oudict. I don't know how you pronounce it, but I'm not on that website. But he reached out to me. He is, and it's under mesOUD. But he reached out to me and said, "Hey, I have been loving your content, and I want to send you some of my work and see what you think." So here it is. Here, I have no idea what's in here. No clue. I don't know if these are bottles, samples. Not a clue in the world. But we're gonna find out together. So I figure let's just do a quick unboxing. Oh, sorry about that. Hope you're not too close to the microphone there, boys and girls. Okay. How am I going to get into this? Okay. Let's see what we have. Ooh. Very interesting. So this is what's in the first one. Ooh, there's like I don't know if you can see it, but it's almost like a Sultan Pasha candle wax stamp. You know, it says mesOUD right here. Very interesting. Interesting presentation. I'm going to break this seal. Seal, you're coming off, buddy. I like the presentation though. Very artisanal. Seems very handmade. I mean, look at the rope. The rope in the wax seal. I wonder if I can get this bottle out without really opening the rope. I might have to try and dig it out. Let's see. Damn it. I wish I had. See, this is why I need the assistant with the long fingernails to assist me. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay, so this is called Synesthesia, I believe is how I'll put it in the description, but it's Synesthesia, and I'm going to read you the blurb that he sent me along with it because I was actually damn impressed with the blurb. I won't lie. I usually don't care for the blurbs. I like to kind of do my own sniffing and deciding and making up my own mind before actually reading the blurb. But he sent me the blurb. This is his newest creation, he said. And I read the blurb and I was like, wow, you know, this is a proper, well thought out, well written. Let me see if I can open this real quick, just so I can get a sniff of it while I'm reading it to you. Packaged very, very well. Very, very well. Synesthesia. I think I'm going to try. Okay. All right. Oops. Oh, let's try this again, Ramsey. Come on. Okay. So, he wrote Synesthesia to Ramsey, mesOUD. Very nice. Synesthesia, I think, is how it is supposed to be pronounced. Let me read you the little blurb that comes with this. And I think he sent me a note listing too. So, I think he said there's something like 10 different types of artisanal ouds in here. So here's what he said on his new release, Synesthesia, which I'll leave his Instagram. I think he's a lot like Prakar Gupta of Sherwood, where you're going to have to hit him up on Instagram. Or maybe find him on Oudict, is how I think you pronounce that, Oudict. Maybe find him on Oudict and you can buy it from there. But I don't think he has a website dedicated to his brand yet. But here's what he wrote on Synesthesia. So it says Synesthesia will be released in the next coming week or two, and no one else has smelled it. I'm the first one to smell it, is what he told me in here. He says everything, all the ingredients are, I think they're all made by him. He didn't use any pre-distilled or pre-extracted outsourced ingredients. He's obsessed with doing everything with his own hands in true art form in his perfumes. So Synesthesia, in simple terms, is the name of a disorder in which melodies, numbers, smells are identified with colors of shapes in the brain. For me, designing a scent is like completing the pieces of a puzzle, rather than drawing a pyramid and placing notes in certain proportions. At the same time, in order to make my work completely my own and unique, I haven't smelled any scents designed by other artists for a very long time because I don't want to direct me directly, or I don't want to influence me directly or indirectly. So I honestly have no idea what the mainstream is, what people like. I just try and make my work that I think is beautiful as a distiller of artisanal ouds and as someone who processes high-end materials. And I want to point out my work may not be for everyone. That's a hell of a start right there. So how was Synesthesia born? I have a bottle that I call the Distiller's Gift, where I collect a little bit of all my distillations, macerations, tinctures, spice, and flower extractions that I have done so far. And Synesthesia was born from this bottle. And there is no formula because I have no record of the proportions of the ingredients in my bottle. I opened my bottle, I smelled it, and I took my other oils. I added different ones over time, and Synesthesia became a completed puzzle in my head. Synesthesia is unique for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's a limited batch with no formula. And secondly, I don't know of anything similar that has been done before. All the compounds in this perfume, I produced completely with my own labor and hands. I didn't use any ready-made products from the outside. He says it contains more than 10 high-end oud oils, real sandalwood, cedar, juniper oils, animalic macerations of tinctures such as deer musk, muskrat, castoreum, ambergris, civet, skunk, and propolis, true Baltic amber, vanilla, cacao, cumin, allspice, cedar moss, bay, lemon balm, orange peel, melissa, rose, cinnamon, frankincense, myrrh, labdanum, etc., etc., etc. So real quick, I'm just going to put his in the banner. I am just going to put his Instagram. So it is, and I'll put it in the description as well, but it's mesOUD _ fragrance. So there's his IG, mesOUD _ fragrance. So you can hit him up and just say, hey, you know, saw it on Ramsey's Live or whatever, and it's something I may be interested in. And this is the image that he sent me of what the fragrance is supposed to sort of look like. So you can see kind of the different colors and the different parts of the brain being lit up. It actually looks better. It looks better on my phone than what it's looking like in this camera. But I love the idea and I love the name. I've never smelled anything from this guy at all. So this is the very first time, but this seems like a hell of a start. And anytime you see that dark juice coloring, that gives me hope that this is going to be really good. Really good. And I've been really into these sort of artisanal houses lately. So, I mean, from the atomizer, it's amazing. I don't want to waste a spray on a blotter, and I don't want to wear it because I'm wearing Butch Fougere for the guy, David Falsberg, coming on the channel. But I wanted to do the unboxing because damn. So now that I read all that, let's catch up on some comments. If anyone's heard of this mesOUD, let me know. So excited to hear your thoughts. Do you know about it, Jared? Issey Miyake or Ensons? Very nice. Christopher Reynard. Underrated. Tales from Zanzibar earlier this morning and applied music for a while a couple hours ago. Nice. I've never smelled that Tales from Zanzibar, but I reviewed music for a while on the channel. Hey, Rachel. What's going on? Glad to have someone with a wrench in the house. What's up, Dushan? Scent of the day, mesOUD. So you do know Ko Kong Oil and Armani Privé Oud Royale. So what's the story with this guy? Is there more backstory that you can share? You know, is he kind of one of the up-and-coming folks that you think will have their own sort of, you know, website and everything in the future, that he's just kind of starting out? Or I don't know how long he's been doing it, but I would love to know more about him. Work, again, I know it never ends, man. Never ends. Being in the cubicle farms. Scent of the day, Garelon Ohm. Like the stream. We'll watch it later. Have fun. Thanks for being here, man. Thanks for just dropping by to leave a comment. And what's crazy is I actually really like my job. I can only imagine, though, people who dislike their job, how hard it is to go to work every day. Trussardi Uomo. Ah, very nice. Very nice. Cannot go wrong with the OG Trussardi Uomo. Beatrice Piquet, masterpiece. Dushan, blast. We'll have to catch the recording. Yeah, thanks for being here. Or thanks for just stopping by to leave a comment, Noah. Alcalde Musk Melange. Oh, man. You guys have been on the Alcalde kick lately. He sent me some of his work. And that Musk Melange is quite good. He's on Oud Addict as well, by the way. That Alcalde. Another interview coming up. I know the interviews are rolling fast and heavy. I need to have Russian Adam back on. Now that he's dropped Oud Taiwan, which honestly, the more I've wore Oud Taiwan and just smelling the oud oil itself, the pure oil, I think the pure oud oil is one of the greatest pure oud oils I've ever smelled in my career of sniffing ouds. It has really, really impressed me. The depth of that oil is mind-blowing. Every time I smell it, I get something else. I get other things outside of just the greenery that they've kind of highlighted. It's crazy. It's crazy how good that oud oil is. Scent of the day for the scent of it, Forsaken Peony. I've never even heard of that, Rachel. A Turkish fragrance. Yes, we are worldwide here at Channel Ram. Melody of the Night. Mozart. Turkish March. There you go. Can't go wrong there. Taklamakin, Stefan Humbert Lucas. Never smelled that one, but I do have maybe a handful of Stefan Humbert Lucas fragrances. So maybe we could do a Stefan Humbert Lucas live stream one day. Every time I have managed to catch your live. Oh, first time. Ah, welcome, gentlemen. Good to have you. Family Portrait Series. Love the channel. Won the most. Oh, love the Chanel one the most. Thank you. Most passionate fragrance reviewer. Thank you for that, man. That means a lot. I really appreciate that. You can. Nah, you're not late, Ajay. You're not late. I know. You showed me that bottle today. Oh, man, I would love to smell that. Do you have EO2, the original? Because I reviewed EO2 off of a sample someone sent me, and at first I didn't like it. And now that I've come back to it, I like it more and more. I would love a bottle of that one day. But I'm curious how EO2 Cashmere compares to EO2. Would love to wear that while listening to Zeppelin's song Cashmere. Yes, that's right. Heck yeah. Still waiting for your review of Xerjoff. I'm not reviewing any Xerjoffs. None are on the docket. The only one that's on the docket is Xerjoff Homme. But that's a winter fragrance. So maybe once it gets cold here, I'll review that. Goat Ram. Wondering if you've gotten your nose on the 3. I have not. But one of the guys who is let's just say we met under uncommon circumstances. I can't go into the entire story here, but let's just say we met under the strangest of circumstances. And he actually lives in the area, and he's a hardcore frag head. He has all 3 samples. And we are planning on getting together and swapping samples and sharing and letting one person smell what the other person doesn't have in their collection and stuff like that. And he has those 3. So he has promised to let me smell them. You know, unless he leaves some samples with me, I don't know if I'll be able to do a review on the channel, but I am excited to smell them. I hear good things. I do know about mesOUD. He is killing it, switching from vendor to only doing his own artisanal creations. I have quite a few ouds and atars. So he's the real deal. I mean, it smells like the real deal Holyfield here. Let me unbox the other one real quick while I'm trying to catch up on comments. He certainly knows how to package. These are well sealed. Oh, very nice. Let's see what we have. So the other one. So in this other, we have, wow, I think these are going to be oils. So check this out. There's his little seal again. And there's a hinge in this box. This box almost looks handmade. You can still see, I know my camera's shite, but if you look closely, once I take this foil off, you can almost see shards of the wood where he kind of carved it still hanging off here. This looks handmade. That's very impressive. Very impressive. This guy is clearly very artistic. So let's see. Let's see what's in these. Will it just open? I'm going to have to cut it, I think. I don't know if it'll just open. It's like wax sealed. Ah, here we go. Okay, beautiful though. So the wax seal acts as like the little thing that keeps the box closed. And inside you have, I'm guessing these are pure oud oils. Yes. So we have, oh God, Habib Wild Ocularia malacensis, Jambi, Indonesia, 5th of June, 2024. So, yes. Oh, wow. I mean, it's what I imagine the inside of this box smells like. You know, just if you take a look at this box, that's kind of what the oud oil smells like. It smells ancient, spicy, old, slightly animalic, but the rot in the wood almost smells like you're smelling iris in a strange way. I smelled that before in an oud fragrance that Russian Adam sent me, and he told me that some very high-end ouds have that little hint of iris sometimes, but it's just the oud. This is nothing but pure oud. And that's why Russian Adam says oud is most likely, you know, the top of the totem pole as far as ingredients go, because there's no other ingredient that kind of does what oud does in so many different, you know, fashions. And oud can smell like anything is what's so crazy about it. So so yeah, this is kind of cool. I wonder if I can just leave it in there like this. It's not going to leak, I assume, although I'd feel safer with it straight up and down. Maybe I can put it like this and then put the box like this, and I think that would, yeah, that's perfect. That way the juice will stay down. Okay, good stuff. I'm really excited about these oud oils. I've been loving oud lately. Hello to all from the Maine coast. Tom Ford Plum Japonais, very nice. Yeah, I plan on reviewing that one of these days, maybe this winter. You have samples of 6 of his non-artisanal oils. My favorite is oud site. Oh, those are some of the oils you sent me. Are some from him? I would have to go back and check. There were so many. I've only been able to try a few of them. But yes, that's awesome. I appreciate you sharing that, Jared. EO2 Original is on my list. Yes. Yes. Love Iris Blue Gree. You saw my unboxing. It's right here, actually. And I wore it to bed. I wore it to bed the day I unboxed it. I sprayed it on. Oh my God. Iris Blue Gree is so beautiful. And you know, Jean Laporte, he founded L'Artisan Parfumeur. He founded Maitre Parfumé Gantier. And I mean, it's so beautiful. As far as like fine French perfumery, I think Maitre Parfumé Gantier does fine French perfumery better than L'Artisan. I think L'Artisan was a niche house with a little bit of like a different vision in mind. But these MPEGs, I'll tell you what, and Rich Mitch sent me the sample set. That's the reason why this arrived, because I tried some and I was like, my God, they are so beautiful. So yes, I have been really digging this. And so this is probably my most prized Maitre Parfumé Gantier full bottle I have. I do have Route de Vetiver, but it's a ancient bottle that Rich Mitch sent to me for free because it only had like 5 or 10 mils left. And it's there it is. You can see it's even an older bottle style, I think. And it's a very earthy, like almost tarry smelling vetiver. I will review this one of these days as well. So I'll do some MPEG reviews, but it's definitely a house you're going to be seeing more on the channel. I am very, very impressed with their work. OG EO #1 is just magical. One of the best fragrances out. Agree. That could easily be a signature scent for me. I love the leatheriness. What's up? DL Qualia, good to see you, man. Scent of the day is the moon. I love the moon. Bought a vintage sealed bottle of Rochas Femme today. Congrats. Congrats on that. You are going to love Rochas Femme. It is maybe one of the best value for money fragrances you can buy. You probably didn't pay that much for it, I would assume. I have done comparison videos between the different versions because mine is the Parfum de Toilette, which is discontinued. You can kind of see right there. Sorry about the terrible camera. One day I need to get a real proper camera. But Parfum de Toilette, it actually says it right here. And so they don't do the Parfum de Toilette any longer. And so I did a comparison video, I think, between the cologne, the Parfum de Toilette, and I actually have the Extrait as well. The Extrait is beautiful too, but I think I prefer the Parfum de Toilette. It does everything, and I think I paid 30. It couldn't have been more than 30 bucks, you know, because Rochas Femme, I think the name has hidden this fragrance from many fragrance connoisseurs for a long time, because for the longest time, men wouldn't try women's fragrances. They stuck to what was for men. And I think that kind of hid a fragrance like Femme. I don't think this fragrance gets the love and attention it deserves because of the name sometimes, you know. I think more people would talk about how amazing this is if it was called like Mitsuko, for example. You know, I don't think has the same sort of connotation as Femme. I think Femme puts it in a box and some people don't even give it a chance, which sucks because this could easily be considered one of Edmund Runitska's greatest creations, my opinion. I think Eau de Hermes and Rochas Femme are right there. Now, some people say Eau Sauvage. Eau Sauvage for me isn't there, although it had an amazing impact. And so maybe if you go off of sort of the impact it had. Now, speaking of Eau Sauvage, somebody mentioned something I completely forgot to mention in my Alain Delon homage, my rest in peace Alain Delon video that I did, because Alain Delon was the model for Eau Sauvage in the 60s and 70s. He was the face of Eau Sauvage, believe it or not. I told you in that video he was kind of seen as like a little bit of a pretty boy, and he was the model for Eau Sauvage. So another quill in Alain Delon's cap, a true legend, an icon. So yeah, Eau Sauvage is, for me, I would just much rather take Femme. This is much more my type of perfumery over this, if that makes sense. This is very citrusy, aromatic, you know, and maybe the older bottles had more cumin or more moss. I mean, this is a 20-year-old bottle or 21-year-old, 22-year-old bottle or something. But maybe the ones from the 60s and 70s were different because so Edmund Runitska's work just doesn't seem like this now. You know, you smell some of the stuff like Femme or, you know, Eau de Hermes with the cumin and you know, as far as citruses go, give me Eau de Hermes any day of the week as well. Is it the Parfum de Toilette version? Scent of the day, the Noir. The Noir. I don't know that one. Yes, it is. Well done, Buster. I proposed the question in Rich Mitch live stream. Any book recommendations on perfumery? That's interesting. I'll show you one I just have lying here. Actually, I have a couple. Hang on. So this is Roja Dove's The Essence of Perfume. This is a very hard book to find. I found it very, very cheap. Some people try to sell this book for like $1,000. Don't be a moron and do that. I don't know what's wrong with people, but Roja Dove wrote this book, and it's actually a fantastic book on the history of perfume. It really does go into the history beautifully. And there's some amazing quotes. The more we penetrate odors, the more they end up possessing us. They live within us, becoming an integral part of us. Edmund Rudnitska. That's a direct quote from Edmund Rudnitska. So he kind of breaks it down into, you know, how you smell and the history of fragrance. And he does go through sort of, you know, the backstory of fragrance and what people wore back in the day, some of the great bottles from the past. So this is actually a really good book. I can recommend it. They talk about the raw materials themselves, naturals versus synthetics. And, you know, like here's some of the, you know, you've got the star anise. I assume that's basil, probably myrrh, beeswax. So yeah, and there's a little bit of a definition on each one. Cinnamon essential oil comes from cinnamon, I'm not reading that, which is native to Sri Lanka, India, Madagascar, and the Comoro Islands. The inner bark of the small branches and shoots are used to obtain the oil, which smells very warm, sweet, and a little damp. In very sandy soil, the tree itself can grow up more than 9 meters, and oil is obtained from the leaves, which tends to be somewhat more clove-like. So kind of cool little info. I would recommend this book if you can find it for cheap. I think I got it from Half Price Books, believe it or not, for like $50. But I looked online and there were people trying to sell this for like $500 or $1,000. I don't know if it's like a discontinued Perfume book. Go figure. But yes, this is actually a good one. Perfume, The Essence of Perfume by Roja Dove. Maybe more common books. Great Italian Perfumery is one that I ended up getting very, very cheap. I think I got this for like $7, $8 or something. It was very cheap. And it goes through sort of the history of Italian perfumery. So you're going to find brands like Sergio Soldano, Valentino, which I've shown this one off before. This is Vendetta Uomo, which is right here. So I've shown this one off before. This is thanks to Justin sent me this beautiful bottle. And, you know, they give a little backstory of the perfumer, the interestingly enough, the bottle designer's in there as well. So this one's Serge Mansau, and I did that bottle design video of the great Pierre Denand. And so this is a really interesting book on Italian perfumery. And for some reason, it was just very, very cheap. So you're going to find the Bulgaris, the Trussardis, Nobile 1942, Dolce & Gabbana, Prada's, Armani's, Zegna, all that good stuff is in here. Gucci, Costume National, Lorenzo Villarese, which is a brand I need to dive into one of these days. Bulgari, Fendi, Salvatore Ferragamo, all that good stuff. So yes, if this is still cheap, I would highly recommend great Italian perfumery. So yes, I have referenced this when I reviewed. When did I use this? I think it was when I reviewed Trussardi Uomo. I think I pulled this up. And then the ones that everyone's going to mention: Perfume the Guide by Luca Turin, and then Perfume's the Guide and Perfume's the A to Z Guide. So these are more comedic reading, I would say. You know, like whenever he does a review of fragrance that he doesn't like, they always butcher it with something hilarious. Like when he reviewed Virgin Island Water by Creed, I remember him saying, Olivier Creed gets in his little boat and goes to find the world's most rarest and unique coconuts and limes, shit like that, you know? So it's more funny. I don't always agree with him. Actually, a lot of times I disagree with Luca Turin. I won't lie. But you have to respect, you know, who he is. He holds clout in the perfume world, even though I disagree with him. And I think that for the longest time, he was very focused on like breaking down how we smell. I think they thought like there was a Nobel Peace Prize in it even, or something, that, you know, if they could break down how we smell scientifically, that, and I think he spent a lot of money creating a business out of it, or I don't know. I don't really understand it, nor do I really care, to be honest with you. whether it's the vibrations, or I don't know, but yeah. So he spends time on stuff that doesn't really interest me, but those are almost necessary reading, and you'll enjoy reading them. They're very easy reads, and it's like. Here's one, Light My Fire by Killian, 2 stars, boring, heavy, dated, spicy, woody, oriental, Luca Turin. That's literally his review, so I go in here and just ramble for 30 minutes on something, and his review is boring, heavy, dated, spicy, woody, oriental. So obviously, if you're looking for heavy detail, Perfume's the Guide will not satisfy you. But if you're just looking for like a fun read, that's not a bad one to have. Rachel, tell Winston that Mikhail Tal is my favorite chess player. He will love Tal's games. Oh, wow. Interesting. This fragrance must be really bold. It is. Yes, you're talking on Synesthesia. I love the name, by the way. One of the best iris fragrances, Elixir Attar Poudre Bois d'Iris. I've never smelled anything from Elixir Attar. I hear good things. I want your advice, guys. I found 2 vintage bottles for Dior Homme and Dior Homme Intense. Which shall I get? I don't think it's that necessary to get Dior Homme Intense, Faisal, my opinion. If you have a bead on the vintage Silver Stem original Dior that came out in 2005, the original Dior Homme, get that. And then just get the regular modern Dior Homme Intense. No need for vintage Dior Homme Intense from what I hear. Now, I don't have a vintage bottle. I think what ended up happening is they put out Dior Homme Intense originally in 2007. In 2011, when Francois Demachy was then the in-house perfumer, he reformulated it. But the reformulation made very little difference from my understanding. So take that information what you will. Only paid like $60 for it. Nice. Get Dior Homme from 2005. Got vintage opium coming in the mail. All right. I'm proud of you, man. Thanks to mesOUD, I've shown off my vintage opium bottle many a times, but I actually have a 10 ml decant of the Pure Parfum from 1977. When it gets cold, I am going to lather myself in this. Oh my God, it is fucking phenomenal. It's so, literally it almost smells as rich and crazy as Synesthesia. They're so deep and rich vintage opium. And the Pure Parfum version is mind-blowing. So maybe one day we'll do like a opium through the years or something video. That would be cool. I'd agree with what Dushan said. Silver Stem, go for the Silver Stem. Mystery by Rocha is stunning. Have you tried it? I don't think so, but I think I may have a sample. Angie's like her nickname, but sometimes you'll hear me refer to her as Andrea. She sent me what feels like thousands of samples of women's fragrances that I just have not gotten to yet. It very well may be sitting here or behind this door somewhere or this door. She sent me so many minis and vintage samples and stuff like that. So it sounds very familiar. Let me see if I marked it in Parfumo. Mystery by Rochas. Mystere. Eau de Parfum. Let's try the Eau de Parfum first. Mystery from 78. No, it's actually on my wish list. Mystere. Let me check the Pure Parfum. Nope, that's on my wish list. So no, I don't think I have any. I think that's one that I was never able to. I don't think I have any of that. Guys, would you spend $50 extra on a 60 ml cheaper Peloton or just buy the 75 ml? Are you talking about for the bust? Or I'm not sure I am aware of MDCI's pricing model, I have to say. But this was a beautiful gift from Natalia. Natalia, wherever you are, I hope you are doing well. So I don't have the bust. It would be cool to have the bust, but I'm happy with this. And it's such a beautiful fragrance. One of Bertrand Duchaufour's best, I'll tell you that. Stuff like this, the original Jubilation 25 for Men, Zonka, Timbuktu. I mean, what a perfumer. It is fantastic. Yeah, and if you like, by the way, we were talking about Rochas Femme. If you like Rochas Femme, Chypre Palatin should be on your list. Or if you like Chypre Palatin, Rochas Femme should be on your list. You know, they both feel like everyone tries to kind of put everything into a box, you know, like these oils that I've mentioned earlier. It's in the box. But the problem is that some fragrances are not just Chypres, or they're not just Orientals. They kind of, many fragrances actually cross and are makeups of multiple things. And so that's where those two fall. I would say, you know, things like Chypre Palatin and Rochas Femme are blends of Oriental style perfumery and Chypre style. And so the name Chypre Palatin, I think, kind of throws some people off because they smell the huge Oriental balsamic resins. You know, Chypre Palatin has many Oriental facets to them. So even though it is technically a Chypre, you're going to get a lot of benzoin, styrax, Tolu balsam, vanillas, stuff like that. Very resinous, thick, heavy galbanum in the opening, but it's also very powdery. And in the way that the castoreum is done in there, to die for. Absolutely beautiful. The Essence of Lies. Oh shit, Dushan. That may be your best burn. Honestly, that may be your best burn. That is number one Dushan burn of all time. Probably didn't write it himself. Oh shit. You guys are killing me. How hard is it to create a perfume at home if you have the mats for it? The mats? What do you mean mats? You need to try Elixir Attar. It's on the list, man. Unfortunately, I'm kind of at the mercy of people sending me stuff right now because I can't spend any money on fragrances due to this divorce that I'm going through. So I'm relying on stuff like this. Luckily, the community has been so generous that I've been doing these unboxings lately. It seems like I'm buying stuff, but I'm not. You know, these are gifts. And as always, I do always tell them, you can send me anything, but I review it the way I want to review it, good, bad, or indifferent. And I don't think I've ever had a brand, you know, straight up say they wouldn't send me something because of that. I did have a brand, I think, that did not respond after I said that, but even Jaseda, which, to their credit, they reached out to me and said, we want to send you this bottle of Jaseda Titanium. I don't know if I've ever butchered and absolutely annihilated a fragrance like I did this one, and it deserves it because it's absolute shit to me personally, my opinion. And I told the lady who reached out to me, she was a very nice lady, to be fair, but I told her, I said, maybe you should send me some stuff from your niche line or whatever. No, we want to push the new Titanium or whatever. It was, you know, some boxer sponsored it, Anthony Reyes. I don't know who it was, but I said, are you sure? Because, you know, I do negative reviews. Just keep that in mind. She goes, we're perfectly fine with positive or negative. Just share your thoughts. And after I dropped the video, I wrote her and I said, well, this will probably be the last time I ever get anything from you guys, I assume. And she actually wrote back and she said, no, we appreciate you sharing your feedback. You know, maybe some of our other line would be something for you to check out. I said, send it on. I'll talk about anything from your brand. Send it on. Of course, never got anything else after this, which I don't expect them to send me anything else, to be fair. But I absolutely despise Titanium. Maybe one of my most hated. I don't even want to smell it out of the cap. I don't even want to smell it. So I do tell brands, you know, send whatever you want, but I'm going to give my 2 cents, good, bad, or indifferent. But this smells amazing. I'm gonna have to wear this tomorrow as my scent of the day. Holy moly! And I don't know availability because it's all, like he said, kind of a one-time put everything in there. That Roja book would look good on a coffee table. Yes, that's right. First name, last names, greetings. Also got a bottle of Hermes Bellamy Vetiver on your recommendation. All right. You know, I've been happy with what I've been seeing in the comments that you guys have been buying based on the things I've been saying. Someone mentioned Rochas Femme. Someone else mentioned Bellamy Vetiver. I mean, I'm an extremely proud papa. If you guys are buying perfume like that because of me, I feel like I'm doing my job, which I don't have a job, but I feel like I am doing one. +1 for mesOUD. Visited his home where his distillery is set up. He's the real deal. Please sample the perfume and let us know your thoughts. We're eagerly awaiting his release. Okay. I will try and do a review in the next week or so. You know, or maybe I'll do just like an early impression after giving it a wear or two, because I know it's very limited. But I love discovering these little brands. That's awesome that he was willing to take you to his distillery setup. That's badass. He's obviously a real one. Hey Rams, do you know more frags that are similar to Tom of Finland? Ooh, that's a tough one, because Tom of Finland has this big note of safraline, if memory serves. And safraline is like a saffron replacement or whatever, but it has a lot of vanilla. And it's like a leather vanilla thing, but there's this weird lemony custard pie thing in the opening that is really very strange. I like the dry down. The weird sort of, I don't know what you would call it, lemon key lime pie feeling to the fragrance in the opening is very weird to me. I like it. I don't know if I could compare it to anything, though. I'd have to sleep on that and get back to you. I mean, if you like it, I would probably just say try to find some leathers that have a vanilla, you know, softening it up a little bit. But I have to think on that. That's a tough one, because I mean, this is an Antoine Lee. Very few, you know, Antoine Lee kind of travels to his own beat, the beat of his own drum, if you will. Green Valley is so fine. My favorite creed. I have a sample. I will review it one of these days. I think it's really nice. I just don't, I mean, would I spend a couple $100s on a vintage bottle if it was well preserved? Yes. Would I spend 500 or 1,000 like people are asking on eBay? Hell no. I mean, they're out of their minds. Yeah, if you're talking about Green Valley, you know, I would much rather wear something like Venezia, or you know, even Royal Oud or Aventus or Viking. I really enjoy wearing those just as much as the unicorn that is Green Valley. So yes. All right, let me open these other two because he sent me more. There's a couple more here. So let's open these so we can see the ouds that have come my way. I was a good boy. I was a good ram. And tidings. Tidings are coming my way. I like his little wax seal. Very Sultan Pasha-esque. mesOUD. See, and actually you can't, I mean, it literally seals it. So it's sealed. I gotta cut the seal so it opens. So bear with me here. I'm going to try to do this without cutting myself. Wow. This is actually even more sealed than the first one. Aha, here we go. Okay. I wonder if I should keep these in these little black bags, or does it matter? I don't think it matters, but you can tell he's put some time and thought and effort into these for sure. For sure. So this one's called Key Rose April 2024 mesOUD. I don't know if you can see that. Sorry about the shitty camera. Key Rose, Q-U-Q-I Rose, R-O-S-E. Ooh, that's really resinous. Very, very resinous. Interesting. Cannot wait to get to know these. Uh-oh. It is not closing properly. Aha, there we go. Awesome. That's great. I'm going to stand it up, though, so the juice sits at the bottom. And I like that he gives you these little things with it, too. I like that he gives you these little... I usually just use toothpicks, to be honest with you. Toothpicks work perfect. Or like a clothespin, like a safety pin. The small sharp part works perfect. And then there's actually one more. So while we're opening these, let's open them and then we'll catch up with some comments. A random live stream, and 50 of you guys are watching. I'm impressed. I'm happy. I'm happy with that, especially with no warning. I hope 100 of you can watch for David Falsberg on Saturday. I hope you guys turn out and have some questions ready for him. He's a very eccentric guy. He seems to really be passionate about his craft. Really passionate. Very, very passionate about what he does. He's got a hell of a story, too. So I am excited to hear more of this story. Oh, the knife just went right in there. All right. Hopefully nothing broke. Nope. Looks like we're in good shape. So this one's called Levant Sinking Grade Wild Ocularia Cumin Giana. I guess that's one of the type of oud trees. Ocularia Cumin Giana. Layette, Philippines. 13.07. I guess that's July 13, 2024. mesOUD. Oh, wow. Sinking agarwood from the Philippines. Oh, wow. That is quality stuff. Russian Adam sent me some oud oils that I still partake in this day. And instantly the quality is reminding me of some of the oud oils he sent me. This is a beautiful gift, man. I've been loving these oils lately too. Absolutely loving them. So thank you. I mean, I don't know what else to say. It's a beautiful gift. I cannot wait to get to know synesthesia. I can't wait to get to know it. I'm going to go to the gym after this, and that's why I don't want to spray it right now because, God, could you imagine this in the gym? Plus, I'm wearing this Butch Fougere, which is David Falsberg's work. Let me tell you the note listing on this Butch Fougere, by the way. So Butch Fougere came out last year, and check out this note listing for a Fougere. And it smells like a proper Fougere, but it smells like a very resinous hay-like, almost like you have a dry, crinkly hay set the field on fire. There's like a smoky aspect to it. And just imagine setting the field on fire. And so Butch Fougere is cardamom, clary sage, juniper berry, nutmeg, petitgrain, pine, Sicilian bergamot, and yuzu in the top. And the top is very citrusy. Okay, you'll definitely get the citruses in the top. This is his most properly masculine, let's say, scent, with a heart of Bulgarian rose, otto, fig, frangipani, geranium, hay, lavender, linden blossom, saffron, and Thai oud. That's the heart, with a base of cedar, choya loban, choya ral, civet, fossilized amber, Fujian cypress, Irish ambergris, which is the brown variety I mentioned earlier. You get a lot of it in the dry down. You can tell he is using, he told me it's 5% tincture in perfumer's alcohol. Java vetiver, labdanum, Laotian oud, musk, oak moss, apopanax, patchouli, Peru balsam, Somalian frankincense, tobacco, tonka bean, and vanilla. Like a very unique take on a fougere. You know, it's clearly a fougere, straight up and down, but you are going to pick up some of the ouds and that kind of burning hay feel in the background and the ambergris into the dry down. So very interesting. I think it's maybe the most proper bit of his work. And so far, what I really like about him is he's not afraid to take chances. Jonathan and I were talking about this in our WhatsApp chat. David Falsberg for Phoenicia Perfumes is not afraid to take chances. And that's a big deal nowadays. That's why these type of houses have been where my attention has been. I mean, and there's so many up and coming houses like this mesOUD, like even this Phoenicia brand, which has been around for a while. Until just a couple weeks ago, I had never smelled anything from them. And so it just goes to show it's such a beautiful hobby that we're in, because it literally never ends. The rabbit hole goes deep, and there's different rabbit holes. Everyone can play in whatever space you love. If you like designers, if you like discontinued, if you like high-end sort of, the high-end parts of the designer house, the less exclusives, the Dior Privés, all that stuff. If you like niche, if you like ouds, if you like, high-end niche, the ultra niche, there's something for everybody. And that's really what makes this, it's such a beautiful community, And, I love just being a part of it with you guys. It's been very fulfilling. It's been a very fulfilling last couple years with the channel, way more than I expected, way more. I've been eyeing a small bottle of Venezia. I would say go for it. It's not on their website anymore. Venezia is discontinued according to, well, it's just not there. I mean, I think you can buy a Venezia candle, but fuck that. I want the fragrance. Cheaper Palatine was 60 ml bottle before they changed it to 75 ml. Oh, okay. I don't think it matters, to be honest with you. This is a 75 ml bottle, and it smells like the decant that I got 6 years ago or whatever it was. I got a decant from a buddy like 6 years ago, and so this is an older juice. And I think with MDCI, I would just buy it. I would probably just buy it. I don't think you have to worry about vintage. And it's interesting because there was like an argument between two high-profile people, the guy who owned MDCI and one of the writers of one of the big blogs. I forget which one, but she was claiming that because the juice color in the beginning was clear, she or he, I don't know. Sorry, I don't know if it is a she. I thought it was a she, but it might be a guy, because it's clear that the formula changed. And the guy who owned MDCI swore up and down, no, the formula did not change. You just have to get some air in the bottle. Russian Adam told me that he was gifted a bottle of this by a friend, and it was clear. And he thought, oh man, it's weak, it's different, it's changed. And once air got in the bottle, the color of the juice began to change, because some of the vanilla extracts that are used will make the color look like this. That's why if you look at a new Tom of Finland, which I think is now called Clean Suede, it won't look like this. Until some air gets into the bottle, it won't be dark like this. Have they changed the formula with the name? I have no idea, but I don't think MDCI has changed the formula. According to the brand owner, he claims that it is exactly the same, nothing's changed. So I would probably just go for the extra 15 mils of juice from what I know about it. But I mean, I also like vintage stuff, so I'd be torn there, man. I'd be torn. Such a great bottle. I bought it on Rams Rec. Nice. You guys are making me feel very good today. Was very bummed after smelling recent Diaghilev batch. Only lasted 4 hours. Okay, so interesting you say that, because Allie, who's been like my Amoise sugar mama, she gave me lots of beautiful gifts. She's one of the reasons we were able to continue to do the Opus, reviews. We're all the way up to basically Opus 11, which I already reviewed on the channel. I may re-review it because it was like a first impression. I may do a full review on Opus 11. But she bought a newer bottle of Diaghilev that doesn't have Roja's signature on the side. That's one way to tell now. So there's a couple tells. One is how the signature is written. If it's in block letters, okay? So if it's like this, it's one of the older bottles where it just says Roja kind of in like block letters, okay? Get my face out of there. I don't know if you can see that. Sorry. But see how it says Roja just in typeface, not his signature? That's an older bottle. Then they switched to the actual signature. That's his actual signature there. You can see it, right? Signed. But The one in the middle had sort of his Roja Parfums in gold on the side. Now they've taken away the Roja Parfums. They're probably trying to save every single penny. I hate it when houses do this, because this without the Roja Parfums on the side, it just looks very plain. It doesn't have the same glitter, pizzazz, you know, glamour. I don't know. And so she has a new bottle without this Roja Parfums on the side. She said she thought it was very weak at first, but once she went through about 20 or 30 mils of juice, it just opened up and bloomed. She said now it lasts 12 plus hours on her skin. So put some air in that bottle, Ajay. Put some air in Diaghilev. Put some air in it, man. I think that'll change. I would love to know if you have the same experience as her. Yeah, I mean, if it has been reformulated, it doesn't surprise me because Roja has definitely gone in a different direction. They've become much more commercialized in a way. They're becoming sort of a Veblen good. Well, they've always been a Veblen good, but they're becoming sort of like the uber rich status symbol. People who don't even know perfume are starting to know Roja. Kind of like with Creed with Aventus, you know, it's kind of one of those things. So yes, I'd be curious your thoughts, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's been reformulated, but I don't know. Sorry, I meant material. To create or copy a perfume, is it hard? I don't know about that. I'm not a perfumer. If anyone has any maybe experience on this, let me know. Oh, that's a tough one. Yeah, Salome uses a Hyraceum note that you're not going to find in Femme or Chypre Palaton. Chypre Palaton uses Castoreum instead, but could it be put in the same category where it is it's got all the building blocks of a Chypre, but it smells more like you know, mixed with an Oriental? Yeah, I would say that's a fair shout. I would say it's a fair shout. Very animalic. Very well done. And if you caught my interview, there was some positive news. She was very worried about this Hyraceum because she thought she couldn't procure it anymore, you know? And she said, luckily she was, you know, she was sort of taught the adage of the ant and the grasshopper, and she saved her Hyraceum for a bad winter, and so she has enough to continue to make some bottles in the near future. But she's going to either have to find a replacement, or which she thinks she's found. She was like, "You got the scoop, Ramsey, because I haven't said this to anybody yet." And on that interview we did, she disclosed that there is another house that potentially may be able to provide a sort of a replacement, but obviously it would be different. It's not exactly the same. How would that change the smell? I have no idea. So if you love Salome, maybe now's the time to grab it. Is being perfection made manifest. Thank you, David. That is way too kind, mate. What's up in New York? No Roja's name on the side. Okay, yeah, so get some air in that bottle, Ajay. Get some air in that Diaghilev bottle, and let me know what you think, because obviously you can see how much air I have in mine. And so maybe that's why this is just so beastly, just because of the all the air that's gotten in there. It's really been able to open up. Tom of Finland, gorgeous stuff. It has that brown hue, almost dark. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's very, you know, I like my leathers to be almost coarse, and there's something very smooth about Tom of Finland. You know, the vanilla just makes everything very, very smooth. I still like it, but it's not my favorite leather. I mean, it's an Antoine Lee, and I love his work, but it's not my favorite. My expectations were high. Get air in it. Get air in it. Enjoying the nice summer, seeing a lot of art complaining about inflation and the high price of rent. Oh man, inflation is actually, it's crazy. If you look it up, in the place that I live in Texas, the Dallas-Fort Worth area, the inflation is the worst in the entire country, is what I read recently, because of just so many people moving here. It is, I mean, so where I live, there used to be a lot of fields up here, right? And it's interesting because the part of North Texas that I live in, almost all of this land was owned by Ross Perot. And if you guys remember Ross Perot, honestly, he should have been president instead of Bill Clinton, in my opinion. And he was exactly 100% correct on NAFTA. He said that jobs would leave. Obviously, jobs left. He was a bit of a prophet in a way. And I really think he would have made a fantastic president. But obviously, the system as it's set up, you know, it's very hard for independents to break through, right? We'll just leave that as the end of the politics discussion. But needless to say, whatever you think about Ross Perot, he owned a crap ton of land north of Fort Worth, and probably bought it for pennies on the dollar when they knew that the city would continue to expand, but when land was still cheap. And they have been partitioning out these little sort of blocks. So they have this huge thing of land, and they've just been selling it off in tiny little chunks here and there. And then they have their own developing company called Hillwood, and they're developing the land. So they own the land, they're developers. I mean, his sons are making an absolute fortune. But Ross Perot is an amazing human being. I've had some people who worked for him who said that, you know, he paid for like a very expensive medical procedure for one of the people who worked for him. And I mean, when you're a billionaire, I guess it's easy to do that kind of thing, but not everyone does. So he was an amazing human being, and they're making a killing up here. But my point in saying all that is that some of the land they own north of me, and it's not a very big bit of land, but it's still sort of green fields right off of the highway on I-35. They're going to be building 15 to 30,000 homes, 15 to 30,000. And that's just this one little area. I mean, it's like 1,000 homes here, 2,000 homes there, 5,000 homes there. It's crazy the amount of building that's going on here in Texas. And it's because all these corporations are coming here for the tax breaks, obviously, and the corporate taxes they're saving on, and the labor's cheaper here. And so all these people are coming here, and that makes inflation go up. And so it is, yes, we have been hit hard with the inflation bug, David, hard. But I'm sure it's nothing like New York. I mean, you know, you still get a lot for your money. There's no state tax like you guys have in New York. But from what we were used to paying, we had it very, very easy. All I will tell you is that my property taxes are 10 times higher than where they were 10 years ago. 10 times higher. Think about that. 10 times. It's brutal. Fat electrician versus tear. Oh, that's a really, really tough one, man. That is, I can see you're into Eldo. You brought them up multiple times, but I love fat electrician. There's something about that creamy, nutty vetiver. It's just phenomenal. I mean, I really like tear, but I think they play in the same sandbox, but they do different things, you know, if that makes sense. Tear does a much better job at that sort of, you know, granular, almost sparkly, dirty orange meets like granite feeling, you know, like there's rock shavings in there. It's a very, very strange fragrance. I reviewed it, but my feelings change over time on a fragrance from time to time. And even though Fat Electrician and Tear may share the same sandbox, they go about getting into it totally different. And with Fat Electrician, the creaminess is really totally different. Even though it does smell like Tear here and there, the way that the creamy smokiness of the vetiver ends up coming through, it's totally different. And of course, you have the myrrh and the apopanax and the vanilla absolute and all the other stuff that kind of set it apart. And in the top, there's elemi. So elemi gives you almost like a fresh, lemony version of an incense feeling. But I'm a big fan of Fat Electrician. Big fan. But I also have a 500 ml bottle of Tear, so I love both. Both are really fantastic. What's up, Jonathan? What's up, man? I was just talking about David Fallsberg's work, obviously, with Phoenicia. So I appreciate you giving me some background on what you know of the house. And you know, I'm excited to chat with him come Saturday. She is Kafkas. I couldn't remember if it was her or Claire from Take One Thing Off or something. Hey, what's up, Rich? Good to see you, man. What's up with that ram? Looks like it's got a crown on. Quack. Like the stream. Great topics. Thank you, Miss Taffy. Thank you. Thanks for the advice. Anytime. Was Roja sold? That is a great question. I don't think it was publicly announced if it was sold, but there's a lot of people who are, let's just say, conspiracy theorists who think that he did end up selling the brand and now he's just like a, what would you say, like the face, you know? He's just like the public face, but the brand was sold. That's what some folks are speculating. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm saying that's what some folks are speculating. You could certainly see how it would seem to be a reasonable hypothesis, because the brand has changed completely from when he was doing things like Diaghilev. I mean, the brand that made Diaghilev in 2010 and the brand that Roja Parfums is in 2024, night and day to me. Night and day. Who could be the perfumer behind Roja? It is rumored to be Robertet Perfumers. And it may be multiple, but I don't know. I have no idea. One and only Roja Dove. What's up, Abe? Jubilation Woman is an alternative to Diaghilev. Yes, it is. Yes. And I reviewed Jubilation Woman. It's fantastic. Watch out for that cumin note in the top, but it is fantastic. Abe, it's been a long time, man. I hope you've been well, brother. Fetiche Pour Homme. I still can't believe they discontinued Fetiche. I still, for the life of me, what an asinine move. Complete and utter idiocy to discontinue this, you know. Oh, a smoky, slightly fruity version of Bel Ami, and they discontinued it. Pain and suffering. You need to create a frag and name it D and give it to I'll make sure to get Salome ASAP. Salome is nuclear, so be careful with the trigger. It is, but it's fantastic. Jason Blaha. No, I'm sorry, I don't. Had Lucky Scent samples of Salome. Liked what I smelled, but I hate how Lucky Scent does samples. Yes, absolutely. We all hate how Lucky Scent does samples. Do not worry. There is no one here that likes those Lucky Scent samples. No one. I promise you, no one. The only good thing, there is one saving grace of the Lucky Scent samples, and that's that they seal up real tight. So some samples will evaporate or leak or something. Those Lucky Scent samples seal up like a mother. So if you found one from like 10 years ago, it's still fine because it just seals up. Where the real men reside. Yes, that's right. Tejas. After ruin the middle-class corporations, fired workers, closed and moved overseas to use low-cost labor and maximize profits for wealthy shareholders and CEOs. Yes, it's very sad. Honestly, the whole story of what's happened to this country in the last, I don't know, my lifetime, 40 years has been, say, you can go back even further, you know? But yeah, definitely it seems to be on overdrive now, and it sucks. It sucks to see. You're paying rent for the apartment. I hope they will not be given to refuge. Seems to me the real evil in Texas is ERCOT. I heard about the price gouging customers with variable energy rates. I am not familiar with that story, David. I can tell you that my energy, even in the summer, has been under $300, and I keep my house on 67 at night and 71 when I leave the house, and that's where it goes from 71 to the high 60s, let's say. And it gets there because I have very energy efficient windows and all that good stuff. And my energy bills are a couple $100, you know, $250, $300 max. So yeah, I've been very lucky, but we're part of a co-op. We're part of a co-op is why it's been so stable. I've lived here half my life and have never been able to buy. I'm sorry to hear that, man. I know those New York apartments. You're probably paying more for your New York apartment than I am for my house. I know it's very, very expensive to live in New York. Very expensive. And not to mention the city taxes. That's the other thing people forget. Not only do you have state taxes in New York, but the city taxes in New York. Yo, Adrian, what's going on? Thoughts on the Perfume Guys YouTube channel? Are you trying to trick me up here? I like him. I think he would be a cool guy to sit down and, discuss perfume with. And he's a great channel to follow to maybe get like new fragrances that are coming out, because he gets sent like everything. I bet you I would not be surprised if he has 20,000 fragrances in his collection. Seriously. I mean, he gets sent everything. Everyone sends to him because of all of his subscriber base. My tastes have kind of moved away from the stuff that he has been discussing lately. But I mean, if any of the big houses have a new, like, let's say the new Dior collection that Francis Kirkjohn's doing, right? I promise you he has a video on that. If Armani has a new fragrance or these big houses, he's on top of it. Whereas a channel like mine, I mean, I'm going back and reviewing stuff from the 70s, 80s, 90s. So it's funny. One time I reviewed something from like a decade ago, and the guy's like, one person left a comment and they're like, "You're late on reviewing this." And I'm like, I'm always going to be late, dude, because I don't rush to get the review out to get views. Like a lot of people did that with the new Spice Bomb fragrance. They rushed to get the video out because of people clicking on it. They want more ad revenue and stuff like that. I will never do that. I probably have samples in there that people would prefer I prioritize, and I don't. I just kind of go to the beat of my own drum. I have to give him credit because sometimes he will speak his mind if he doesn't like something. I remember he shit all over Inicio's Oud for Happiness. He didn't like that when it came out, although he was mad they didn't send him a free bottle. So I remember that was maybe one of the reasons why he was mean to them. I don't know. But I remember him being very upset that he did not get his free bottle of Oud for Happiness. So I don't know. There's like, I don't want to say entitlement, but he has just been given everything. Like, imagine just being given everything. And that's very hard to maybe focus and talk about what you love and stuff like that. But overall, do I like him? Yes. Do I watch his channel regularly? No. Have you seen the top 20 weird fragrance? No, I have not. Thanks for letting me know. I hope it will not get weaker after the reformulation. I do even know it got reformulated. It didn't get reformulated. Are you talking about Salome? No, it didn't get reformulated, but there is a ingredient, Hyraceum, that she had a very hard time getting. The oil houses basically stopped making it. Go watch my interview with her. We shed some light on it there. Do you know any similar fragrances to Nasomato Pardon? Yes. Oh, I was going to say L'Ensemble de Guerlain. There was another chocolatey oud or chocolate patchouli that reminded me a little bit of Pardon, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. If anyone, I remember what it was. It was this. It was Philip Plein's No Limit. This is a strange fragrance. It's an Alberto Morillas creation, but it basically smells like... Let me make sure there's nothing on this blotter. Yeah, I don't think there is. I think this is a clean one. Philip Plein, No Limits. So No Limits is weird because, yeah. So it's almost like a weird designer version of Pardon, but the designer side of it is going to make this sweeter. Okay, so that's the first thing you have to know. It's going to be sweeter. There's no getting away from that. But if you let it dry down, you will start picking out some of the patchouli and chocolate combination and anise that will remind you of L'Instant de Guerlain and, of course, Pardon by Nasomato. But if you look at the note listing of No Limits, you basically are going to be greeted with all kind of just strange things. Aquatic notes, which I can't say I get very much of, but maybe it just adds this strange kind of contrast. Ginger, bergamot, black pepper, cinnamon, clove, cardamom, leather, bourbon, vanilla, dark chocolate, black amber, cedarwood, frankincense, oud, patchouli, and woods. Alberto Mordiez is the perfumer. So if you want my opinion, L'Enceinte Guerlain, Perfume, and Pardon are just the two to get in that category. I wouldn't recommend this personally. Of the three, this is the one I would probably stay away from. This No Limits. I mean, for what it is, or maybe like a starter fragrance for a high schooler or something. Is it good? It's not bad. It's surprisingly good. Surprisingly good for what it is. And it does get a little bit animalic as it dries down. Very, very strange for a designer like that, but it is overly sweet. I got married and focused on my work, and I'm in school right now for finance, so I've been busy. Put fragrances on hold. I know how that is, man. Trust me, I know how that is. But it's good to see you, man. Really good to see you. I'm glad you've been doing well, and congrats on getting married. Did you get a prenup? Because I wish somebody would have slapped the shit out of me and when I got married and said, get a fucking prenup, Ramsey. Hey, what's up, Susie? I am the King Troll James, and Jeremy Fragrance pays my bills. White truffles lines. Well, good to meet you, Fragrances World. Wake up. Kingdom of Saudi Arabia by Roja Dove is a good fruity leather. Yeah, that's a very interesting comparison. I mean, I would take Kingdom of Saudi Arabia all day, every day over Tom of Finland if you were comparing it to Tom of Finland. Or were you comparing it to Fetish Poem? What were you comparing it to, Ahmed? But yes, it is. It's very good. And discontinued, sadly. Much love to the chat. Indeed. Much love to the chat. My energy bill here is $600. Oh, my God, dude. I couldn't do it. I couldn't sleep. My house has to be cold for me to sleep. And I don't like fans either. I don't like a fan to keep me cold. I want the house to just be cold. Like if I put my house on 64, even in the Texas heat, I bet it would get there. Firmenich is no longer producing Hyrasium Absolute, and Salome will be reformulated in a couple years. That is the talking point. Exactly. Hello from a huge fan in Italy. I am diving into vintages more and more. Recently bought a new gem, Clandestine. Do you have it, or do you ever did a review on it? Clandestine. By Guy Laroche. I have not. No, that is one of the ones that is on my wish list that I have not smelled. Nope. Can't smell or own everything, Nicolo. That's one of the tough parts about this hobby. You have to kind of prioritize. But yes, vintage fragrances will capture your attention. I'll tell you what. I just the other day I was talking about this again. Shout out to my brother mesOUD for sending me these beautiful vintages, but he sent me Pub by Revlon. And I'll tell you what, man, this is for what was a cheapie. It doesn't last as long as I want it to. It's only like a 5-6 hour fragrance, which for a vintage, you would think it's going to last and last and last. This one doesn't, but those 5 or 6 hours are absolutely glorious. Just masculine. This is from 1965. Masculine anise liquor note in the top that I think probably inspired Azzaro Porom in 78. I mean, you got to think this was, I think, something like 13 years before Azzaro Porom. And I always think of Azzaro Porom as that fragrance that kind of set anise notes in masculine perfumery. But this is Pub from the mid-60s, a Revlon fragrance, which is probably a cheapie, at the time. It was probably considered cheap. But it's crazy. You start diving into vintages and you realize even the, drugstore brands or whatever you want to call them, the cheaper brands, they used amazing materials back then. And the fragrances smell so much more natural. Obviously they use synthetics. I'm not saying they didn't, but the percentage of naturals, even in the cheaper vintages, is shocking. It just goes to show how bad things have gotten. Sucks to hear. Definitely check out Mercari to find an old bottle. Yes. I used to like the perfume guy. He has good taste, but as you said, my choices have moved on. I think you have moved on to a higher plane, Ajay, from what I know about you, my brother. You have moved on to a higher plane. All right, so we've got half an hour left, and then I'm hitting the gym. Psychedelic, Hyraceum. Isn't that basically poop, or is it Hyrax? So Hyrax is the animal. Hyraceum is the material, and it is actually petrified and mummified poop and pee. So it's piss and poop from this animal. So they basically live in caves and stuff like that in North Africa and in Africa. And I think maybe parts of the Middle East or Asia, but that part of the world is where I think most of the Hyraxes live. And you know, it's basically like petrified poop and pee and piss, which sounds insane that it would go into a fragrance. But Hyrax, from my experience, smells like a blend of all of the animalic. So imagine you took like the sparkly side of ambergris, and you took the pissy side of civet, and you took the warm, leathery, metallic side of castoreum, and you kind of blended them all together, and that's what Hyrax smells like. But of all of the ones that I mentioned, the real animalic ingredients, Hyraceum is the hardest to accept. There's something about it that is very, sometimes depending on how it's used, it's very off-putting. Like, but if you said, Ramsey, give me one Hyrax fragrance to try, let me try to understand the note, Salome nailed it. I've never smelled a fragrance that used Hyraceum Absolute like she does. It is phenomenal. Go watch my review of Salome. It is also probably one of the most sexual fragrances in my collection. There is, I mean, Liz Moores herself called it, it's kind of her interpretation of sex on the skin. Okay, that's what she says, sex on the skin. So did someone give me a super chat? Where'd you go? Thank you, Ahmed. Please do a review of Javoy fragrances. I will. I promise I will. I have every single Javoy, almost every single Javoy fragrance ever made. Someone sent me samples of all of them. So I have like 30 Javoy fragrances. And some of my all-time favorites are things like Psychedelic. I love that patchouli. Even though there's a sweet element to it, it is just a beautiful bomb of a patchouli. Les Jeux Sans Feints, which basically means no more games, I believe. No more games. And Les Jeux Sans Feints is probably my favorite from the brand. It's very tough to rate, but Les Jeux Sans Feints has this amazing ability to be boozy and just smell like a celebration and yet not be heavy. Imagine, you think of boozy fragrances and amber fragrances and stuff like that as being very heavy, right? But Les Jeux Sans Feints basically did it in a way where it comes across as having this effervescent quality to the fragrance, you know? And it's got rum, Cuban rum, and gin, patchouli, labdanum, vanilla, cistus, like labdanum, sandalwood, tobacco, and yet there's something about it that even though you get the spices and the resins and the woods, it comes across as effervescent, uplifting even. Like if I was going to wear one of those heavier, boozy fragrances in the heat, that could be one that, you know, maybe could be worn on summer nights. Kind of like how the coconut in Nishane's Fan Your Flames goes very well, let's say, in summer nights. It gives you this beach vibe, you know, shorts and flip-flops and, you know, maybe like a t-shirt feel, right? Les Jeux Sans Feints is much more upper class. Like it smells like maybe you're dressed more like me instead of shorts and flip-flops. But it still gives you a little bit of that laid back vibe. So maybe when you were in the office, your shirt was buttoned, which this shirt won't even button anymore. Your shirt was buttoned. You had the tie on. Now you've unbuttoned your shirt. You're relaxing at the bar with your buddies. You know, that's the feeling of Les Jeux Sans Feints. I mean, it really has this beautiful laid back feel to it. And I absolutely adore it. And it was done by a perfumer named Dorothy P.O., and she is a Robertet perfumer. She is a very talented perfumer. So for those of you who are speculating that Robertet is helping someone like the brand Roja Dove, if that is true, she would be one of the perfumers that would be maybe helping create Roja's fragrances. Interesting little tie together there. I'm not saying she is. I'm saying if you are the type of person to make that speculation, then she is a perfumer to check out. Okay, let's go back to where I was. Ajay was saying, hi, Racium. Hey, what's going on, Douglas? Howdy, howdy. Jicky is in the new style bottle. Guerlain really amped up the fougere elements. Yes. If you're a fan of fougere fragrances in general, Jicky and Mouchoir de Monsieur are two you have to try. They are phenomenal. I'm going to review them one of these days, but God, it's so much pressure to review a fragrance with that type of stature. Like you really feel like you have to be on your A game. And sometimes it's easier to just I'll just grab something like Tom of Finland as an example, which I have not reviewed this yet. But it's much less pressure to review something like Tom of Finland than the great Jicky. I mean, the fragrance that kind of is seen as the first modern perfume, because before Jicky, they used to create stuff like lavender. That would be the fragrance, and it was meant to smell like lavender. Or, you know, they would create chamomile, and it was made to smell like chamomile, or jasmine, and that was it. Or civet, you know, that's what people wore. There wasn't this artistic element to it where I'm going to mix this and this and this and make some abstract concept. No, they were going to make a fragrance that smelled like rose, and they just called it rose, or whatever essential oil they were trying to make it smell like. So yeah, Jicky is just revolutionary. And to review a fragrance like that, you imagine you had a bad day or just an off day, and you review it and just it's not in the great Jicky. You know, that's the pressure. The pressure I feel. That's why some of those, let's say, most important historical fragrances are still left unreviewed. Thank you, Maxim. That's very kind, man. Hey, what's going on, A2? Just spoke to mesOUD brand owner, and he says only 61 bottles will be made. Oh, shit. I'm hoping to be one of the 61 purchasers. Wow. Only 61 will be made. Okay. Well, I guess if you guys are going to get in on this, it looks like the word is out. So, yes, I mean, from sniffing the cap, I can tell you I'm very excited. 10 different types of ouds in here. So, anyways, you're taking a flyer on it. Maybe I'll wear it tomorrow and do just like an early impression video. It's obviously not going to be detailed, but at least something will be out there. So if you guys want to try to grab it, you've got something to go off of. Can't believe they are keeping this old warhorse of a fougere around, but I love it. I love it too, man. I do too. I actually like Mouchoir de Monsieur even more. Don't hurt me, but I do. I really like Mouchoir de Monsieur. Both are fantastic, though. Comme des Garçons Black versus Black Pepper. Well, I've reviewed Black, but I have not reviewed Black Pepper, so I would go with Black because that's the one I reviewed. Isn't No Limit supposed to be a clone of Gucci Guilty Absolute? There are elements of Gucci Guilty Absolute in here as well. Yes, there are. Not a clone. No, not a clone. But it uses, I think, a proprietary note that only Alberto Mordias or some of the very high, like, top of their perfumers, like, I don't know how you would rate the perfumers, but maybe like the most senior perfumers at, the oil house that Alberto Mordias works for is allowed to use that particular ingredient. I think it was called leatherwood or something. I'd have to go take a look, or golden wood or something. But yeah, it is in both. So it does give you a little bit of that Gucci Guilty Absolute vibe. But it's no contest. Gucci Guilty Absolute is a million times better than No Limits, in my opinion. But it does have, imagine if you took Gucci Guilty Absolute, mixed it with L'Instant de Guerlain or Pardon by Nasomato, and then you added this designer bubblegum sweetness in the top. And that's kind of what it smells like. Still good. Still good. You have to kind of get over that sweetness. But good evening. Ramsaroni. I like it. I've heard a lot of things. I heard Ramathorn, Ramrod, but never Ramsaroni. So thank you, man. Welcome. Dope. I would have married you. I I am straight, David. I don't know, but I am straight. I appreciate that, man. I can recommend you Rich Mitch's channel, and you smells good. Yes, of course. Your own original similar fragrance with the animal iris vetiver cacao combo. That's a very good shout. Someone was mentioning just here, I'll grab it. Someone was mentioning L'Instant de Guerlain. So if you are into that kind of cacao feeling, in 2005, when Dior Homme came out, this is kind of, I think, what they had their sights on, because even though the one I'm holding is the Extreme version, which came out in 2005, the Eau de Toilette version, which I need to get a bottle of that is on my wish list, came out in 2004. So this was already on the market. And so obviously this has that chocolatey cacao, patchouli, star anise, and it has a beautiful note of ambrette, by the way. Beautiful, or hibiscus flower is what they say, but I think they're basically 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other kind of thing. And so Dior was obviously competing with this when they made the original Dior Homme. So there are some elements. You're exactly right, Bruno. There are some elements in there. Well, ambergris is basically poop vomit. Can't get too picky. You're right. It is. Ambergris is basically whale vomit or poop. The scientists actually disagree on how ambergris is actually ejected from the whale, which is very interesting to me. That in 2024, there's no definitive, yes, it's either sperm whale vomit or sperm whale poop. So yes, that's very interesting, but either way, it's crazy. When you say sex on the skin, I always think of Sherwood Czar. I wore it the other day. My God. So it is. Czar is maybe his most underrated. I always hear everyone talking about inexplicable Age. And of course, everyone loves Ambrosia, as do I. You know, if you want to experience an ambergris, that's one I can strongly recommend to you. Unfortunately, you'll have to find a bottle on the secondary market, which may not be cheap. So Ambrosia, but very few people talk about Czar up there with his best works. But man, I sprayed it on my arm that day. We did a live stream within the last week. I need to wear it. The problem is I'm always wearing new stuff like this for you guys. So I have very little time to wear my favorites. But man, I can't wait to wear this tomorrow. And what a name. Synesthesia. What a beautiful name. Made with love and passion. That's awesome. That is awesome. I'm hoping all the success goes to mesOUD, these type of brands. I love these type of little brands that are up and coming, and you know, they have no sort of expectations. They're just creating for the sense of creating, for the artistic side of creating, you know. Thanks for the Rex. mesOUD is lovely stuff. Another person knows them. Mahmet is really passionate about all things artisanal and oudi. That's awesome. That's great feedback I've been hearing from you guys, man. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Clarence. He has a website, by the way. Just put it in the chat. I didn't know he has a website. Put it in the chat. When I search for mesOUD, it takes me to his oudict. It takes me to his oudict profile. I didn't see his own website. Even now I'm looking, I don't see a mesOUD website. I see a Etsy mesOUD, but that's not him, I don't think. That's Wall Art. That's not him. So yeah, the oudict is the only thing I see. What's his website? What's his website? Just got a meeting, walk into a live, just got out of a meeting. Antonio, I was saving your seat right in the front. Please sit down, sir. Welcome, Mr. Hobson. That is you, Mr. Dushan. You must an amazing Age. Oh God, I envy Age, and you see what I have. Age is on another plane, Age is on another planet, man. Honestly, if I could go to anyone's house to sniff their collection, Age would be probably right there at the top, because he has some of the, well, I won't dox you, Age, but I will say I want to smell so much of your stuff, man. You've got stuff that I've been dreaming to smell forever. Age's collection is legendary. Beach Hut Man is incredible. Yes, it is. And stupidly, moronically, discontinued, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure. Let me check the mesOUD website. Let's see if it's on there. Let's see if Beach Hut Man is still on there. Beach Hut. Yes, it is. It's still on there. So not discontinued. Excuse me. I take that back. Not stupidly discontinued. Yeah, as far as mint and mesOUD goes, I reviewed Enclave, which has a huge spearmint minty thing. And give me Beach Hut Man any day over Enclave. Beach Hut's way more my speed, but it's really not like a hut in a beach. It's like a hut in a forest, you know, with overgrown vines, and that's the feeling, you know. I think of like a hut in the deepest Vietnamese jungles, you know, just completely enshrouded with trees and vines and a shrubbery. I don't know, but all kind of greenery around Beach Hut Man. It's amazing. And not toothpastey. Yes, I agree. I love the mint there. And I love all of you know, that is one of the most intense, piercing green fragrances I've ever smelled. Have you tried Rania J? I did a Rania J live stream. Yes, it's one of my older live streams, but there is a Rania J live stream on the channel where I tried things like tea habanero and all that good stuff. And I liked her fragrances. The problem is some of the stuff that she has made that is, let's just say, very hyped in Fragcom. Like, for example, Ombre Loop, right? Ombre Loop came out in 2012. Well, Ombre Loop smelled like a step down from something like Russian Oud. And so when you've smelled Russian Oud, for me, I would take Russian Oud over Ombre Loop any day of the week. If I was not one of the lucky ones to own an original Russian Oud bottle, I would buy Ombre Loop like that. But the problem is I already have Russian Oud. So she's kind of punching a little bit above that niche weight class, if you will. But she's doing it in a way where it's good, but it's not as good as competing with the big dogs. That's the hard part about the Rania J brand. I think she's really good at what she does, but for me, she isn't good enough to facilitate, let's say, full bottle purchases is the way I would view it. One of my favorite green scents, indeed. Absolutely, indeed. It is invigorating, creamy freshness into Dior Homme. That opening and smoothness, it literally gets me daydreaming. Yes, Dior Homme is, especially the original Silver Stem, one of my favorite iris scents. Here you guys go. Support him. Where is it? I don't see the website. Maybe it's blocking you because of maybe it won't let you put a website in. Just write the name. Just write the name without the .com in there, Clarence, and I'll put it up here. Yeah, I have his IG listed, but I didn't see a website. He does have the bespoke. I think there was a handful made. What, 2, 3, 4, 5 bottles for the whole world? I'm glad you think so, Rams, but I've seen some collections worth twice my house. Oh, I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure. But from what I know, the ones that I want to try, you have them, my friend. You have a lot of the artisanal fragrances that I want to try. What's the house from, was it Pakistan you were telling me about the other day? There's just so much out there. It's impossible to keep up. But yeah, I know you've got some stuff I want to try. Yeah, once you get into the 7 figures collection, that's only 2 bespokes made. I have one and Muhammad has one. Yes. It's just mesOUD.com. Okay, I'm going to try it. mesOUD.com. He does have a website. How did that not come up when I did a search for mesOUD? Very strange. Very, very strange. Okay. Well, let's edit this bad boy. We'll do mesOUD.com. Boom shakalaka. How about that? Yes, sir. Ah, Muhammad lurking in the shadows. He hears bespoke Sherwood. He's like, yes. Only me and Ajay have one. That I bet it smells amazing though. I think either Ajay or maybe I think Prakar Gupta may have outed you guys and sent me the note listing of what was going to be in there. And I was like, wow. That must be it. Try using different browsers to get mesOUD. That's it. Yeah, it's mesOUD.com. It worked. It worked. He's got his mukhalets, atars, essential oils, perfumes. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. I love learning about these new houses like that and supporting them. This is the place my nose has been going lately, not the new Dior's or the new Armani Privés, or that stuff just hasn't been interesting enough to me lately. Would I like to smell them? Sure. Yes, I would. But am I going to go drop $400 on the new Armani Privé or whatever it costs nowadays? No, absolutely not. Would it be fair to say that Mouchoir de Monsieur is the first flanker of all time? That is a great question. That is a fantastic question, Douglas. If Ajay did, I mean, if Dushan didn't have the zing of a lifetime when it came to talking about Roja Dove's book, you would win question of the day, sir. But that's a great, great question, man. I mean, obviously, Mouchoir de Monsieur is a take on Jiki. I mean, I would say yes. I mean, I would say yes that it easily could be seen as a flanker of Jiki, a version of it. Yeah, before flankers were even, they didn't even know what that word was. I was looking for the perfume on mesOUD and I couldn't find it. I don't think it's released yet. I think it's coming out in the next week or so, he said. So you'll just have to probably check back. Yeah, you'll probably just have to check back. He didn't give me an exact date. I was going to say, let me check my phone, but he didn't give me an exact date. He just said within the next week or so. So just check, hopefully not enough people are willing to blind buy that you'll be able to get a bottle if you want one, David. Man, I can't wait to wear that tomorrow. mesOUD.com/index.php route equals common/home. Okay. Or just mesOUD.com. Damn, didn't know you were live. That's it. That's it. A quick, and we've been at it for an hour and 47 minutes. A quick live stream after work. I can't do heavy. Here, I'll tell you a secret. Okay, I'll show you guys a secret. If you're grossed out by strange human anatomy, look away. But I am triple jointed in my elbow. So you see that? So I literally cannot lift heavy. I have to stay light. Like I'm a rep guy through and through. I have to just do reps because I've just never been able to. My probably being triple jointed has something to do with that. Or maybe I'm just weak. Fuck, I don't know. But I have to go light. I can't go heavy. Never been able to go heavy. And just do reps. That's all I've been doing lately. Is just relatively light and just a lot of reps. I've requested for a sample set. That's a great idea, Mohammed. That is a fantastic idea, actually. Lovely, enjoy. No sample set on the website for oud oils. That's a fantastic idea, man. I'm sure he's going to watch this and take that feedback. Clarence, his non-personal distillations are just as banging. Haiku is crazy. Ko Chang as well. Is that what the other somebody else was wearing Ko Chang earlier, right? Who was that? Man, you realize how many comments there. Jared. I think Jared was wearing Ko Chang earlier. Hugo Boss #1 is so fucking good. See, that's another example of somebody who bought something on my recommendation that makes me a very proud papa. If you're buying Hugo Boss #1 from the mid 80s because of me, I feel vindicated in some ways. All these fucking influencers hyping up their stupid ass, you know, whatever clone house or shit, this, that they're being paid to hype. If you're buying Hugo Boss #1 because of me, I am a happy ram, man. I really feel like you're getting the proper perfume introduction there, man. Absolutely. It is amazing. Hugo Boss #1 could be a signature scent for me. That feels like, to me, that's what a man should smell like. You know, that polo green, Antaeus, those are straight out and out to my way of seeing perfumery. That is what a man should smell like. That's what a man who has his priorities in order, who knows who he is, who, you know, isn't afraid to say when he's wrong. All of this image of a proper man, head of the household, takes care of business, not afraid to stand on his own 2 feet. Whatever you want to think of when you think of a man, Hugo Boss #1 embodies that to me. I absolutely love it. If I had a signature scent, that could easily be signature scent. But I think I did a signature scent video and that was in there. Ramsey is the Dalsham in stream. Dushan, dude, that's 2 in 1 day. What are you on, bro? When I contacted him, he said about 2 weeks. Okay, awesome. Man, you guys are on this. It seems like everyone knows about mesOUD but me. No way, Rams. I have the same joint issue. It's crazy. I've got that in the shoulders. Man, that's nuts. All right, that's it for me. Thanks for being here, man. I'm about to end it too, Maxim. You're not going to miss much. 4 more minutes and I got to end it. Hugo Boss #1, more recent batches, not bad too. I heard that. I've heard both sides. I've heard some people say they're shite, don't buy them, only go vintage. And I've had some people say, it's not bad for a modern. You introduced me to Lapidus Pour Homme, also my favorite of all time. And I've been through 350 mils of Green Irish Tweed, which was my favorite. That's good stuff. Lapidus Pour Homme is, yeah, man. If you bought Lapidus and, oh God, if you bought Lapidus and Hugo Boss #1 because of me, I'm a proud father. I'm a proud papa. At least a dozen. Thank you, Keith. Maxim Bortnikov's coming out with a new oud fragrance, 50 and 100 mils, $450 and $750. It's a Kenom fragrance, right? It's a Kenom. So I did a live stream on Maxim, and actually he gave me a discount code. He was the first person to ever give a discount code to Channel Ram, Maxim Perfumes, which made me chuckle because I was like, you're giving me a discount code? No one gives me a discount code. But he was like, yeah, here's a discount code for you. And I really enjoyed getting to know some of his work. Like this one's Amber Balsam, and I was worried about what he was going to put out because, you know, the way the House of Bortnikov started to go, he released a couple fragrances for the House of Bortnikov that I thought were but he really came through with his brand. His brand, very, very impressed. Musk Couture was beautiful as well. And, oh yeah, brilliant stuff. And the type of perfumery I've been really into lately. And the last one was Cafe Mystique, which is a coffee oud, which is not too bad. I really want a bottle of Oud Luwak one day, man. That is like a dream coffee fragrance for me. But maybe Russian Adam will do like a part 2 of coffee of Oud Luwak. But yeah, so this brand Maxim Perfumes is the son of Bortnikov, of Dmitry Bortnikov, and he is releasing a Kenom fragrance, from my understanding, that is going to be $750 for 100 mil, $450 for 50 mil. Just off to work. Nice listening to you guys. Thanks for being here, Clarence. Hey, Eugene in the house, right as we're about to drop off. Dalsham, fucking Dushan, man. That's 2 zings, 2 in 1. Mohammed comes in clutch. You know, I'm waiting for your next release. Yes, we all are, man. We all are. We're all waiting for Eugene's next release. Yes, what he did, honestly, my opinion, what he did with Desandras, he should have won that award. And I haven't even smelled the Atis de Venustus that beat Desandras, but I can tell you right now, it's not better than Desandras. That is, I would bet a lot that Desandras would be much preferred to whatever the Atis de Venustus that one is. For people like us, would be my guess. Yeah, Desandras is fucking phenomenal. Man, an old school leather Chypre. Think of things like Devon by Aramis, the great Bernard Chant, and just modernized. No one uses tuberose like Antoine Lee. What's the discount code? Go watch my Maxim live stream. There's a Maxim live stream where it's going at the bottom of the screen like it is here. Is Quirtus review in the near future? I don't know about the near future, but maybe sometime. Yeah. I don't know how I think about Quinam Ram. Oud Quinam from Bordnikov. I couldn't detect any Quinam. It's tough. Quinam's a tough note, man. It really is. Was too watery. Interesting. I heard good things about it, so that's kind of disappointing. Quinam Frakes, well, depending on how much Quinam, but yeah. Eugene the man. I've fallen down the rabbit hole of, yes, it is a rabbit hole, man. My wallet hates you. You're welcome. You're welcome. Your wallet hates me. Your heart loves me. You guys are the best. You're the best, Eugene. Seem to share the same struggles. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with next, man. Cannot wait. Desandras really should have won that. I think Eugene got screwed, in my opinion. Like, I think it was like a popularity contest. I think Desandras should have taken the prize, in my opinion. I think that they didn't want to give it to such a small upstart brand, but they shouldn't have let their prejudice get in the way. Desandras is maybe the best release of 2023. You know, seriously, maybe the best release of 2023. And to have that snatched away just because of a popularity contest, that's dirty, man. That is really dirty. So, yes, if you guys follow my channel, and let's say you're a new subscriber in the last 3 months, 6 months, whatever it is, go back and watch my reviews of Desandras and Ladulaire Skis and Bellam from Eugene's brand. And a lot of people, you know, wrote these off because they were a YouTube brand or whatever it is. I'm telling you, if you're into the type of perfumery that I'm into, these are worth a sniff. This one, Ladulaire Skis, I bought with my own dough. This was not a gift. And I can strongly encourage you to check this out. Desandras was a gift, and honestly, I would buy a bottle. If I could, I would buy a backup of Desandras. Not that I think it's going to be changed or anything, but it is backup worthy. So yes, if you're into vintage perfumery, Les Abstraits is definitely a brand that you need to check out. The materials, value for money, everything. I mean, those could be double. Honestly, price on Les Abstraits, in my opinion, could easily be double. With what perfume houses are doing nowadays, easily they could be double. Easily. And he could justify it. Now, the only thing I do wish Eugene did, some constructive criticism, is smaller bottles. I wish they did like 50 ml bottles, or like 30 ml, 50, 100 ml. And I know that's more expensive to create more bottles and stuff like that, but I wish there were more sizes than just the 100 ml. That is my only beef. But value for money, what you get, the amount of juice, the quality of the juice. I mean, this is competing with Frederick Malle and beating some of Frederick Malle's releases, you know, stuff like that. I mean, and I'm not just talking out of my ass because Eugene's my friend. That is literally how I feel. So yes, Les Abstraits is a brand that you should sniff. If you are into the type of perfumery I talk about, definitely worth a sniff. So, all right, I got to end this in 1 minute. Most worn scents of the year. It is fantastic, man. So I just want to thank everyone for being here. Thank you to mesOUD for sending these beautiful, the bottle and these absolutely gorgeous oud oils, which I cannot wait. I'm going to try them when I wear them to bed, and I'm wearing this tomorrow, this Synesthesia. So 61 bottles made. I really, hypermobility. Have you been tested for Ehlers-Danlos? I don't even know what that is, but I don't like doctors, Lily. I don't like doctors. So I don't need tests. They can fuck right off. Wearing Kinam Urjwani today. All right. I love Kinam Urjwani, man. I would love a bottle of that. I love it, but I love everything. Maybe it smelled a little musty like an old lady's house. I like Dessandra's better. I've never smelled the Aedes de Venustus, but I would take Dessandra's. Yeah. They have the pedigree and the connections. No doubt about it. No doubt. Yes, 100 mils. You get a lot value for money. All right, you guys, have a great evening. Thanks for joining. More on mesOUD on the channel to come, I promise. So everyone have a great evening. Thanks for being here. Thank you, chat, for participating. This is always fun. It's great to just be able to hit live and, you know, all of a sudden you've got 30, 40, 50, 60 people here to kind of kick tires with on our beautiful hobby. So thank you. Cheers. Have a good night. Catch you next time. Bye-bye.